Alright, today I'm going to do a quick video on BMW military sales in South Korea. My intent is not to bash anyone that works for BMW or to bash BMW for that matter. You know, I truly appreciate what they do for the personnel that are assigned overseas and or stationed overseas. And in no fashion am I saying if you have the option or if you're entitled to buy a BMW from military sales, I'm definitely not telling you to pass on it. I'd probably do it again if I could, but I'm doing this video so people will have an understanding on what to expect if you buy a car in South Korea and you stay in South Korea with that car. If you're buying the car from the BMW military sales and you're having the car shipped back to the States, probably, you know, this video is not for you because your car will be dealt with stateside. But if you buy the car from South Korea and you stay in South Korea for any amount of time, i.e. the car is going to be delivered to you in South Korea, I think this video is worthwhile for you to watch. This is my wife's BMW. It's a 5 Series 550i X-Drive. We've had this car now for a little bit less than 2.5 months, probably around 70, anywhere between 70 and 75 days. We picked this car up on 30 April. The military sales process, is, like I said, is how we purchased the car in the beginning. You go there, you show them your entitlements, and you don't have to be in the military. You just have to be a SOFA person to buy the car. So you go there, you show them your SOFA documentation, so they can validate that you're actually authorized to purchase a vehicle from them. You go through that process. That takes about a week to get all the paperwork straight. And then a tip for me to use when you actually go to your bank and if you finance the vehicle, if you don't pay cash, if you finance the vehicle, make sure that your bank understands that they're going to have to actually send a check to you so you can hand carry and pass over the check to the military sales component. They will not do the EFT thing that's very familiar in the States. You just give them your bank number, they call the bank, and the bank does an EFT. So you'll have to go through that process, and then you'll get the title. You will get the title. Obviously, it'll say lien holder, your bank, and then you forward that title to your bank, and that'll complete that process. I just threw that out there. This is just a tip for those that are interested in how it works. But to get back to the heart of the video, for lack of a better word, I've had this car for, again, 75 days. We've had 2 problems. And one's probably not a problem. I'm calling it a problem. The first one wasn't even a month after we got the car. It was 18 days after we got the car. The car gave an error. It was a yellow triangle, and it said, warning, cannot fully engage drivetrain. Drive moderately, and see your service desk as soon as possible. So, okay, I call the little 800 number that they say, hey, come out here, that if you have any issues, you call those guys. They come out here, they get the car. Didn't happen like that. They came out here, they sent a service rep. He stayed out with the car for 3 hours trying to figure out what was wrong with it. I've owned Audis, Lexuses in the past. Be honest with you, I'm an Audi guy, but I couldn't pass up on this military sales offer, so I bought this BMW. This guy came out here, he sat with the car for 3 hours trying to figure it out. The whole time after the first hour, I'm thinking, dude, you need to take this car. I was like, you can't fix this car here. I mean, this car is 18 days old and it's showing a drivetrain issue. You don't give me some shade tree, thing to try and fix it right here and drive off. I didn't agree with that, but I'm telling you this so you understand how it's going to work. If you have an issue, you can call the 800 desk, but if you don't speak Korean, what they're going to tell you is to call the person that sold you the car at the military sales desk. That person may or may not be, I don't even know, fluent. I guess it's probably the better word. That person may or may not be fluent in English as well, even though that's the person that sold you the car. They may speak enough English to get by, with small talk. But when you have an issue, they may not be up to par. But that's what you're going to have to do. And I think you need to know that. Because there's some expectation management that I've had to learn to do. Again, I compare this to Audi service, Lexus service when I was in the States, and I realize now that that's the wrong thing to do. If I had an issue with my Audi, call them, they come and get the car. Or if I could drive the car in, I drive the car in. They put it on the lift right there, if it needed to be on the lift, or they run the diagnostics. Hey, here you go, this is the problem. Or, hey, is this a computer issue? These guys, you call the guy, if I had to call the guy that sold me the car. That happened to be a Sunday night, so obviously he's off. So I had to call him 10 times to get an answer. He answers the phone, sent out a service rep. Maybe an hour later, that was dispatched from the closest BMW dealer. That guy comes out here, sits with the car 3 hours, says no issue, leaves us with the car. The next day, same thing. My wife's driving the car. She's trying to put gas in it. The car does the same thing at the gas station. She gets scared. We bring the car home. I call back, say, hey, come get this car. They come get the car. Takes about 3 days. All the while, I sent BMW USA an email basically explaining my dissatisfaction. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? Is this what BMW, this is how you guys do service? It took them about a week to even acknowledge my email. And that first email simply said, okay, we can't help you. You bought your car through military sales. This is BMW USA. Sorry. Now, I get that. I had a feeling that they would say something like that, but I figured since I'm an American, I could go to them and they would help me out, because you don't have somewhere to go out here. There's no BMW Korea that you go to. When I go to BMW Korea, they say, well, you bought this car through military sales, so we can't help you. So your only outlet and or inject point here, if you stay here for BMW military sales, is the person that sold you the car. And if you go straight to the service desk, the BMW Korea service desk, the first thing they're going to say is, did you buy this car through military sales? If you bought this car through military sales, then they put you in a whole nother bracket. It's like, okay, here's the military sales. So I'm not saying that they don't do you justice. I'm telling you this for your for your education, as far as what to expect when you're out here. If you keep a BMW out here. Again, I'm not saying pass up on the car. Don't buy the car because you're going to be stationed out here. It is the ultimate driving machine when it works. I will definitely say that. But I've had 2 issues so far. My wife and I took a 3-hour road trip last night. We went north from where we currently live. It's about 3 hours away. Coming back, the engine oil light came on. And I was actually surprised. It said add 2 quarts of oil. This car doesn't have 2,500 miles on it. It probably had about 2,200 miles at the time the light came on. And again, this car isn't even 3 months old, and I've burned up 2 quarts of oil. Now I get it; it's a bigger engine, a V8 4.4 liter engine. I just think it's funny that in 2014, I got to drive around with quarts of oil like I was, with my first car, which was a 1984 Cutlass Supreme. I just find that weird that in 2014 I got to add oil to a car. So my thing was, I went back to my BMW salesman, said, hey, this is what happened. Can you call a service desk and ask them if that's normal for this car? I'm not familiar with how this car works. I've never had to do that with my Audi or my Lexus, but then again, I didn't have the V8s in neither of those cars. So I don't know, if that's common. I know it's common for American V8s, or what I remember with the V8s. I just didn't expect it to be, a thing for a car that costs this much and supposedly, finest European technology in some aspects.